What's up, comics fans? Jackson here. Today we finally get a look at Absolute Superman issue number 2. Now we're going to jump into that in just a minute, but first, if you've not watched my video for Absolute Superman issue 1, click on the card up top or the link in the description, either one. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet but you do enjoy my videos, then please take a moment to subscribe. It's free to you, but it means the world to a small creator like myself. Alright, with that all out of the way, let's get to it. Now, issue 1 left us with Kal-El getting cuffed by Lois Lane, and not in the, oh no, I have to buy a Christmas present kind of way. Lois is actually an agent working for the Lazarus Corps, but as with each issue so far, we start with a brief flashback. Now this one takes us to the Redlands 6 years in the past, where we find what appears to be a teenage Kal-El in the middle of class. Kryptonians apparently do remote learning, so anyone who was in school during COVID can understand his lack of enthusiasm. Now, as with much school today, Kal didn't give the answer the way the school wanted, so it was deemed unacceptable, and now he has to stay after for a parent-teacher conference. Yes, even one of the greatest superheroes to ever live had to deal with parent-teacher conferences. Now we come back to present-day Brazil. Lois is holding Superman, at gunpoint, instructing him to get down on his knees. Now he attempts to free himself, but is unable to break the cuffs due to being weakened and vulnerable. Now Lois blasts him with electricity, causing his suit to react. Kal instructs his suit not to hurt her, but the other agents only hear hurt her. They respond in typical trigger-happy fashion by unloading everything that they have on him, not even concerned that Lois is also actually in the line of fire. Kal, on the other hand, he does his best to shield her from the hail of bullets, but Lois still hasn't figured it out, even though Kal keeps flat out telling her that he's just trying to save her. Now, as they bicker, his suit works on the cuffs, but is just unable to free him. It should be noted at this point that Kal keeps calling them chuffs, and the suit keeps correcting him and telling him they're called cuffs. And with no other option, Kal rockets them both up into the air, where he is pursued by a tank that just also happens to be a helicopter. So it's like a tankocopter, helitank, whatever you want to call it. The Peacemakers inside the flying tank have been given permission to use chem rounds because the Lazarus director wants Kal alive, but they really couldn't care what happens to Lois in this situation. Now the rockets they fire at him both say peace at all costs on the side. Now someone should tell these guys that bombing for peace is like fucking for virginity. Luckily, the suit once again uses the sunstone dust to protect both him and Agent Lane, shielding them from the blast. When they land, Lois still hasn't gotten it through her head that he's just been trying to protect her, but before she can radio for help, Saul blocks the transmission. Now they argue a little bit more over who's at fault, but before Kal can get through to her, another rocket hits near them and explodes. Kal alerts the citizens to get somewhere safe, then picks up a car from the rubble and launches it at the approaching tank helicopter. Now the tankocopter crashes back down to Earth near a church full of people, so Kal rushes to help everyone. Lois, finally coming to her damn senses, actually lends him a hand. And we see Kal moving through the flames and debris, pulling everyone to safety inside the dust shield. As he's doing so, we get a narration of Lois's field report to Lazarus. She explains that his suit does seem to display some level of sentience, but that he also possesses superpowers of his own. She goes on to say that she believes he doesn't even understand the full extent of his powers because while he is every bit a man, in many ways he's still just a boy. And once he has everyone to safety, the sunstone dust begins to heal people's injuries, and Kal uses his frost breath to put out the fires and to shield the church. Now almost completely drained, Kal drops to his knees. Lois contemplates using that to her advantage, but instead she decides to make the right choice and requests to be assigned to Superman full-time. She claims to want to study him further, but her private notes about how good he smelled gives away her true intentions. Feeling vulnerable, Cal begins to open up, but just before he reveals his home planet to her, the cuffs unlock. Before Lois can say anything, Cal rockets himself into the air and he is gone. Back at Lazarus headquarters, Lois is finishing her eval with the automated system. Every time she responds to a question, the system takes her answer out of context. We then see that it's not really an automated system at all, but it's actually Brainiac wired into the mainframe. Frustrated with the system and wanting it to be in her own words, Lois refuses to leave, requesting instead to write the report herself. After that very long opening segment, we finally go back to Krypton for another quick flashback. There we see young Kal-El taking advantage of a power outage to skip school and play with his dog. Now, Jor-El and Laura are in their shop working on a child-sized prototype exploratory spaceship and rocket ship all in one that Laura built when she was 12. After the incident in the mines in issue 1, Jor wants to be ready for whatever is coming, so they plan to take their findings to the clerics, but Laura is convinced that the clerics are not going to listen to two people of such low station. Jor tells her that they will make the clerics listen, and if they won't, then Laura will have to build a ship big enough to carry everyone they love to safety. And now I think we're starting to understand how Cal came to be on Earth alone. Back in present day, we get a quick shot of Cal at the Venezuela sign. The sign has been spray painted with the phrases "Lazarus means death" and "Join the Omega Men." Back at the church, the people have begun to gather outside where the Peacemakers are searching through the rubble for any sign of Cal. As with many people in authority positions, they have a God complex and believe they're owed gratitude. Now, angry that the civilians won't tell them where Cal is hiding, they gun them down in cold blood, and that is how issue 2 comes to a close. Alright, I have to say that Jason Aaron is doing an amazing job with this storyline. Each issue is giving us just enough to make us want more, but not drag it out so slow that it gets boring. Sandoval and Areola are also putting together some amazing artwork and brilliant color schemes. You can use the link in the description to show your support to these amazing artists by picking up a copy of Absolute Superman issue 1 and 2. And let me know in the comments below what you thought of this issue and what you think of the Absolute series as a whole. Whose story has been your favorite so far? Now, while you're at it, please be so kind as to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to Dot Comics for more. Also, if you're a fan of DC vs. Vampires, then click the video here to watch my breakdown of World War V issue 1. Issue 2 will be up in a couple of days. Now, with all that said, this is Jackson signing off. Thanks for watching, and stay heroic, my friends.